He's
Okay.
overexposed.
Well, you know, we talked to you about a BAP.
Bolanle Austen-Peters, BAP.
You didn't see her on that set?
No.
I assure you.
Oh.
But you saw the name.
Now she's been revealed.
Oh.
She's a lawyer. She's an award-winning Nigerian movie and theater director, a producer, and a cultural entrepreneur. She has more than 30 years' experience in telling stories of Africa's history, culture, and Africa's heroes. She's also committed to using the power of storytelling to empower the creative industry. In 2003, Bolanle embarked on an extraordinary endeavor by establishing Terra Culture, Lagos's premier arts and culture center. Please welcome BAP Bolanle Austen-Peters.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
And I'm glad to tell you that Bolanle actually arrived in Lagos this morning.
Wow.
And she's on our set.
I'm super delighted to be here. You know, I've always, I mean, you know, we work together, so it's a beautiful thing to be here today.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
See, let me start with...
My partner can't wait.
I can't wait. You see, number one, you are not just a movie maker, you also produce for the stage. That transition is, as we say on the streets, it's not beans. How are you able to manage it?
So I think first is, you know, I'm a lawyer by training. So I sort of like happened onto this space.
Oh.
And studying people, using my space was how I found my voice. I allowed people to use our Terra Culture Hall, and I started watching. So for over 7-8 years, I was watching others do things, so I was in school. So when I transited and became a director, a lot of people couldn't believe it because they assumed I didn't know what I was doing. So obviously there was some latent talent in there, and they brought it to the fore. And don't forget that Terra Culture itself is a production house because we produce exhibitions, we produce events, you know, so our entire being has always been around production. So doing stage came naturally, well, not naturally, after 6-7 years of understudying others. I had gotten a lot into myself, and then when I started directing, a couple of plays later, we've taken up, I think we have we have the highest grossing plays in Nigeria, the highest, longest running plays in Nigeria as well. We've taken our plays to London, to Dubai, to South Africa, to Egypt, you know, and stage has become sort of like second nature now, right? I decided, so actually it was COVID, during COVID, when we were not allowed to mingle. I was very frustrated, and I told my team that it's probably time for us to start looking at other ways of making sure that our storytelling is seen by a lot more eyeballs, and also that it's there for posterity. So we pivoted into movie making. I did a little bit in 93 Days. I was the producer and the executive producer and costumier. And then I did Bling Lagosians, which was my first directorial debut with movie making. I didn't know if I could do it, but I'm somebody that I always push myself, and I'm up for any form of challenge. And when we did Bling Lagosians, it was so successful that I said, okay, so directing stage is probably, in my opinion, actually more difficult than movies. And I tell you why.
That was the question I was going to ask you, seeing as you had done both.
Yes.
Because some people just stick with one. But you are doing both.
Yes.
And you're still doing both.
Yes.
Which do you prefer?
Well, I love stage. I love the passion and the energy of stage, and the believability of stage, and the quality of craft of stage actors is phenomenal.
There's no take two.
No, there's no take two, so you have to be extremely good.
So this is stage.
So this is stage. This is stage. And why I say stage is easier for me, is more difficult is because as a director on stage, you're almost in charge of everything. So the light, the sound, the blockings, the movements, you know, I'm involved in every single facet. So I'm the one that determines where light comes in. I'm the one that determines where sound comes in. I'm the one that writes how movements would take place, and also I write the emotions into people. So you're sort of like doing 5, 6 different things that in movies you have experts for the different units.
To interpret the different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
The lighting guy is the lighting expert. The sound guy is the sound expert. But on stage, I'm doing everything. And I think that's what gave me this ability to transit very quickly. Because it was now for me easy. So I could, do you get what I mean?
Which one did you start with?
I started with stage. I started with stage. Now I've done 7 movies in less than 5 years.
But somebody came here, somebody in the industry came here and said that because stage took so much time to put together and was so much effort.
Yes.
And it also seemed to bring in less money.
Absolutely.
Why are you sticking with it?
I think I'm a diehard. And I clearly love pain. But honestly, on a more serious note, I think that first is that we're creating a lot of impact. A lot of young people who want to be in theater did not have the platform. And there weren't many platforms for theater in Nigeria anymore. And terror culture became that beacon and the platform for most of them to rise. As a matter of fact, a lot of the actors that came through our stage are now movie stars. So if we don't continue doing what we're doing, a lot of them do not get that opportunity to be movie stars just like that. It is when people see them on our stage, they're like, oh, he's good. Then they call them.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I like that. You know, I was actually going to ask you about, we don't have much time, but I really would love for us to talk about this. So you owe us another visit here. But, you know, let's talk about this new flick, this Iyalode. Storytelling is a way to preserve culture. There is no doubt about that. It's the appreciation of it that I'd like you to speak to us about. How well do we appreciate our stories? How relatable are our stories to the young Nigerians?
I think for me, this is probably one of the most important things. So storytelling has the power to change the perception that people have of a people. The Westerners have used this for a very long time. You know, you see an American, they package the way they want to be sold, right? And for a long time, we actually imbibed more foreign culture than we exported our own stories. So our children, in not their fault, it's the generation above us. We did not preserve our stories. We did not package the stories in a way that was consumable by young people. So now a lot of our children don't know our stories. And that's why it's very important that we're telling them that there's a Rosa Parks in America, but there's a Funmilayo Ransome Kuti in Nigeria. What do you know about Funmilayo Ransome Kuti? Most of them just say, oh, she's the first lady to drive a car. That is what they reduced her to. This woman, before Fela, as we say at Terror Culture, there was Funmilayo. Everything Fela did was a microcosm of what his mother had done. Everything Fela tried to do, he more or less borrowed from what his mother had done. So it's unfortunate that somehow in packaging our curriculum, we've forgotten that storytelling, our culture, our heritage is probably the most important thing to sell to our children, to give them that sense of identity and that sense of belonging. And I think that what we all are doing now in the movie space and also on stage is that we're bringing those stories back. So Funmilayo Ransome Kuti is one of those stories that not only does it educate, not only does it entertain, but it inspires. It is to inspire young people that one person can make a difference. One woman single-handedly confronted colonial government, confronted the traditional sitting king.
Which was worse than the military.
I mean, without social media, She mobilized 10,000 women. When I was talking to Yeni Kuti and Femi, they told me that until when their grandmother died, they did not know how powerful she was. That when they took her corpse to Abeokuta, that throngs of people, 10 times bigger than the crowd they had at TBS when Fela died. So this woman was one woman who was able to traverse, two social classes. She was well educated, the daughter of a rich man, schooled abroad, came back to Nigeria, garnered all the market women, taught them how to read, put political consciousness into women. And when women were taken out of the equation due to the colonial effect, women were no longer represented in governance. So they were taxing women heavily. She mobilized through education, through political consciousness. She single-handedly rallied 10,000 women, confronted them, and took down the sitting king. And they reversed all the laws and then brought women back into the ruling class. How about that?
Okay, when is this film coming out? When is it coming out first? Because now I can't wait.
It is amazing. It comes out on the 17th of May in all cinemas in Nigeria. And then in June, at some point, it's going to come out on another platform for now, so that people can go to the cinema. Please go and watch it. But most importantly, please take all the children. Schools should be encouraged to take their children, and even the adults should go and see the story. That all our stories should not always be only about thrillers, about comedy. We can achieve a lot more if we're teaching ourselves about our history, because all the frightening stories we hear about kids abroad these days, they've lost the sense of identity. They don't know who they are anymore.
So May 11 is just 7 days away.
May 17.
May 17. Sorry,
yes.
May 17 is just about 6 or 7 days.
7 days a year from now.
6 or 7 days.
We're having the premiere tomorrow at Terra Culture, so you're invited.
Okay.
Although we're oversubscribed.
So don't worry, we can sit on the roof. Well, there's so many, as I said, I mean, you're going to have to commit to coming. We
have to come back and discuss this, I know.
And discuss this, because the issues are just that we just have to, our time have go. Sorry, it's gone.
Oh, really?
We've run out.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So you want to, list all 10 questions.
Iyalode is out of the oven already. What's going into the oven next?
So we have a big one coming through Netflix. It's an original. It's another epic. The House of Ga.
House of Ga? Who's Ga?
It's the story of Ga, a prime minister in Old Oyo Empire who killed 4 kings, and the 5th one took him out eventually.
That is Bashorun Ga.
Ga.
You haven't heard
Bashorun Ga. Even I didn't know of him.
G-A-A.
G-A-A.
Yes.
Yes. Unbelievable. And then we have another one, which is Wire Wire, which I think someone here played a role in.
Yeah, but it was just
about those boys.
It was just a 30-second
we'll put you in more, definitely, if you're interested. It's about the boys who are fraudulent. It's a very interesting story.
Okay. BAP Productions.
Austen-Peters.
Thank you so much.
One of my favorite people. Thank you very much for coming on Sunrise this morning.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
May you live long to continue telling our stories.
Amen.
And changing the perception of Nigeria.
Amen.
Over there.
Thank you so much.
That is an epic prayer.
So awesome. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for being with us. We hope you'll be with us again next Saturday, same time, same station. My name is Alero Edu.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Do have a wonderful rest of your weekend.